are you, Rockstar?
Oh, I'm well. How are you doing?
Oh, great. This is awesome. Like, this is totally iconic for me. I want you to know season 20 was a really good season for me.
It was a good season. It was a split house. It was a lot of energy, a lot of big personalities. So
Oh, yes. Yes, personality wise. Oh, yeah. Um, so first of all, thank you so much for coming to talk to me. I really, really appreciate it.
thanks for thinking of me.
Oh my God. When you said that, I was like, are you kidding me? Rockstar, hello. Like when you think of like your top players, like that's someone who's so iconic. Come on.
Oh, thank you.
You have to know that. So I wanted to ask you and everybody this, because I'm sure it's different for everyone. How were you cast on Big Brother, and what was your like casting, your story for casting?
Okay.
Is that a whole lot? Because I'm sure it is.
It is actually. I was managing a nightclub and I got pregnant on my IUD. And my joke that I actually told during the casting was that my son said, "You don't." And that was one of the jokes I told. I told a lot of jokes. But
Oh my God.
so I left my nightclub management job and I had just had a baby, and I said to my mom, I'm like sitting there, probably baby on the boob, honestly, like, whatever, just sitting there like, Mom, what am I going to do? I can't go back to managing nightclubs. I can't throw a festival. Like there's too many kids, right? Like there's 3 kids. And she said, Angela, you should really audition for Big Brother. And here's an even further backstory, because I'm an ADHDer, so I got to take you even further back.
That's fine.
When I was in high school, I had an exchange student from Germany, and she came here, and I was a junior, and she would be like, "Oh, do you watch Big Brother? Big Brother, I love it so much." So then, which is a terrible German accent, but whatever. So then, then I go over to Germany, and this show hadn't hit the United States yet. So I go over to Germany, and it's the night cams, and they're all speaking German, and it looks like literally hamsters and like they're people, but I'm like, and it's all in German, and I'm like, I don't understand this for nothing. So then this show hits America when I get back in my senior year of high school. Then my parents start watching this show. So me being who I was, whatever my parents thought was cool, I definitely wasn't going to start watching it.
Right.
And so now flash forward, many, like at least a decade forward, if not more. And my mom says, "Well, Angela, you should really go on Big Brother." And I said, "Well, why, Mom?" And she at the time, she said, "It's a $500,000 cash prize." And I was like, bet, because I just had this surprise baby and I already have 2 kids. So we could buy a house and we will be fine. Like, let me go win this shit. So then I'm talking to all my little nightclub girlies that used to work for me, all the cocktail waitresses and everything. And they're like, "Angela, people are going to love you because we love you so much. Like, they're going to love you." So we're going through the casting. This is just the one more thing that I'll say to wrap this up. I send in a tape. The tape is a 3-minute tape. I just send it in. I'm just talking my shit. I drop a couple jokes, and like, they call me 2 weeks later. So I'm like going through the casting process, and I'm talking to my casting agent, and these people, they're just eating it up. They love it. They love me and I love them. And we're like having a great time. And I'm like, "Should I watch this show?" And they're like, "You haven't seen the show?" And I said, no, I haven't seen the show. And they said, yeah, you should watch the show. You should watch the show so you know the terms and stuff. And I said, okay. All right, well, what season should I watch? And they said 16. And I said, all right. So I get on YouTube and I start pulling this up. And I can promise you that I have never made a phone call faster. I called my mom. And I said, "Exactly what about this lion backstabbing ass show do you think I would be perfect for?" Because I am very honest as a person. And I'm like fully like what you see is what you get with me. Mm-hmm. And I'm not schemy. And she's like, "Well, Angela, you're just such a character. I just think people will really like you." Yeah. And so I said, all right, let's go. And that is my very long but real Big Brother origin story.
Oh my gosh. Okay. First of all, I find that hysterical that you applied, you were not recruited, but you still didn't see any episode. Also, whoever told you to watch 16 first, applaud them, because you were in the more modern era, and I think that's the start of the great modern, like just the whole era of it. It started at 16 for me. So that's pretty cool.
They really like 16. So after I watched it, I binged watched during my casting process. I watched season 16. Then I went on the internet and was just like, hey, I'm new to Big Brother. What should I watch? And they were like season 10. So I watched all of season 10. Then I watched season 12 and I watched half of season 14. I was just like I don't even know what I was doing, but I was just going with whatever was free and on YouTube probably. But I like binged, I studied this show so hard that like I feel like I could teach a class on it, even though I didn't do really well. I knew what I was talking about. I knew which character was what. And in my mind, at least.
Yeah. No, this is shocking for me because I had not known that about you. I thought you were like a super fan. So that's pretty funny.
Are you a live feeder?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay, so then you would hear. Then you probably when I was on the live. Oh, go ahead.
I started so late. I started on the worst season. No offense to I love Tommy and stuff, but I started on 21. That's when I started with the feeds. I'm like, really? I missed 20. I missed 18, 17. All those yeah.
The live feeders, it's such a amazing aspect to the show because there's the real story, there's everybody's perception of the story, there's CBS's edit of the story, and then there's what was actually happening. You know, which is I believe what the live feeders see. And we know how obnoxious it is to say the live feeders don't see everything, but even they don't see everything. So
yeah, it's cut. Well, did you watch, are you keeping up with all the seasons currently? Like, have you been watching? Okay. So you saw how much it was cut last season with Angela, or you like heard about it?
Yes, yeah. I did definitely hear about that. So not this past season, but the one with Taylor, I think.
Oh, Taylor Hale, was it 24?
Was it 24? Was
the one before that was
it was the one with Jag.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay, so whichever one
25.
Yeah, 25. Okay, so 25. I said to my current partner, who had known me for 15 years before we were in the nightclub world together. He's like he throws festivals and events, and I did too. So there was a lot of crossover. We were a lot of friends. This wasn't like somebody that I've known him a long time. Yeah. But he never watched Big Brother. So I said, look, this is like a really big thing in my life. Yeah. You should watch it. So we watched my season and then we watched 25 together. And I thought that was really cool. I don't keep up on the live feeds like a live feeder, but I do like to dip in and I do like to get in there.
It's a lot. People, even me, I have to catch up. Like, I'm a live feeder when I can because I have 2 kids, and a job.
Right.
So it's real tough. Plus, LA is 3 hours, I believe, before me. So it's like everything they're doing at night. It's like 2 a.m. for me.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, when you're on the East Coast and you're watching the live feeds and stuff, it's way later. Yeah. Than because the East Coast is in the future. However,
exactly.
Who knows? But
it's in the future. It's true. Yeah. I mean, we get the show aired before anyone else, but still, we don't want that.
Right.
So I want to ask you something, but I don't want to, I'm sure you hear it so much. I'm going to ask you anyway. Okay. Your rivalry with Brett. Your daughter's birthday is the most iconic meme gif there is out there. Can you tell me how, for the people who don't know, because I'm sure that people are still asking, what was this even about? Because there's clips everywhere. Can you explain it a little bit, Angela, please?
So they don't understand it because it was a buildup. It wasn't just this wasn't day one.
Right.
We didn't just meet earlier. There was a lot that built up to this very moment, including at the time. And I when I speak about these things, I'm going to say I'm speaking about them at the time because I believe in grace and space for everyone to grow, change, and evolve. And I hope they're all well, whoever I'm about to speak about. That's my message, because now I'm going to talk about it like we were there. All right. At this particular time, my rival, Brett, was very, very kind and uplifting to every other girl in the house. Did I want him to flirt with me? No. But did I want him to literally say, let's get the unattractive people out first, Rockstar? There was a lot of bullying that I heard. I have a this is a Cancer symbol, like not the disease, but the astrology.
Yep.
He went and had this whole big talk with everybody about what a whore and a terrible mother I am for having a 69 on my wrist.
Give me a break.
A lot. He called me fat. Not only did he call, there was a lot going on that was not shown. So anyway, so there was a lot behind there. This was not a person that was kind to me at all. Then, and wouldn't even speak to me, actually. When he was on the block, I think there's like a quote that I look like a big old idiot for, because level 6 had their whole shit going on or whatever. Sorry for cussing. But he said something a lot. Why was I about to say that? There's a quote where I'm saying, did Brett come campaign to you? Like, that's not very good campaigning. Like, this isn't playing the game very good. So not only was he rude to me around me as if I wasn't even there. He wasn't even directly rude to me ever. He was rude to me. I could hear that. You can hear when people are talking about you, and you hear, like, these were real things that were said. So he didn't even talk to me when he was on the block. And I'm thinking, like, this is a great opportunity to campaign, blah, 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 blah. This, that, and the third. So it comes, and I have been rang through the runner. These people I am the block baby. Okay. They keep putting me up there, and I'm like, this is whack. Like, I'm the oldest person in the house at 35 at this point, which isn't even, like, I thought I had watched season 10. I thought there was going to be a 53-year-old and a 70-something. I thought I was going to be okay. Like, and me being in the house as the oldest person after Steve at 35, it was like crazy. It was like a sorority fraternity party.
Yeah.
So that's the energy that was going on. This particular, before every live episode, Big Brother would come on and announce. And I really tried to follow the rules of production, because I really wanted to be like somebody that they would ask back, or like would be, this is an opportunity. So whenever production would say something, I would pretty much be like, all right. The thing production would say all the time was no shout outs. And I literally would say stuff out loud, like, why do they keep telling us this? I mean, nobody even, right? Like, we've heard, right? Like, nobody's doing that. So it gets to the day before my daughter's birthday, which will be my daughter. The only time she sees me on her birthday will be this episode. And the cameras are off because we're all getting ready. And before the live episodes, the feeds cut for a bit and everybody's getting ready. So we're in the bathroom, and everyone is in the bathroom, and we're doing our hair or whatever. And I turn to everybody and I'm like, look, guys, I know that they say no shout outs, but my first baby is turning 10 tomorrow. And I'm going to give her a shout out. And almost everybody in the room kind of like busts out laughing or smirks. And they're like, we give shout outs every single week. I give my dog a shout out. And I thought, oh my God, my kids must think I'm an asshole because I have not given them because they kept telling us not to do it. So I never did it. So that's a buildup happening already. And I'm thinking, all right, well, at least I'm fucking safe this week. At least like I'm good. These people that we wanted on the block are on the block. I'm not, this is the first week that I'm just going to sit here and mind my business and shout out my kid on her birthday. And I'm so excited to be on TV and be able to do this. This is like a dope moment. So I knew that my family was watching this episode, and it was like a big deal to me because I also knew, because you figure it out very quickly who's getting airtime and who's not by who they keep calling into the diary room.
Mm-hmm.
You can figure that out if you're savvy. You're like, oh, I'm not really in this right now. And for whatever reason, public opinion or whatever they go by, production, who knows, ratings, Nielsen, who knows what they go by. But yeah, I knew. So then he gets up in his eviction speech and had made up this complete lie about how the vote was about to be flipped because I had come up to him and offered a partnership and that I was going to flip the vote. This guy that refused to speak to me, that treated me like dirt, then said that I formed an alliance with him. And my people believed it. And I was PMSing. So I mean,
top it off.
That is driving me nuts. I'm just going to open my door a little bit more. Hold on.
Oh my God.
And I was PMSing. So all of this combined, I was like, hell no, this guy isn't getting away with this. And I am going to chew him out. Now come to this viral clip, right? Because it kind of agitates me a little bit because the first part that isn't on there is me cussing him out. I'm not going to do it on your show because you'd have to bleep out whatever. But I mean, it was just like, so Casey's behind me and she says, Rockstar, we're live. Well, all I can think is mother effer. And so I start stuttering because I realize I'm on live and you can't cuss when you're on live. So that's why I'm like, disgusting. Because all I wanted to call him was a dick.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine how hard that would be to think of a word in the moment.
When you can't cuss and your natural flow. Oh, give them to me, please.
Oh, stop it.
So nice.
Those are beautiful. Oh, Rockstar.
That's nice. I didn't know that was going to happen. All right.
That's so beautiful. Those are goals right there, relationship goals. I love them. Yes. Anyways, not to ruin that beautiful moment.
I know. Sorry. We were really amped up about anger, but
what a sidestep that was.
I know. And redirect.
Okay, mad.
No, but it really was like it was a culmination of a lot, and none of that is expressed due to level 6 being a favorite. I've now come to understand, not through getting to know Brett better, but through getting to know the world better, that he's I think he does well on, I think he's got like, I don't know, 1 million on TikTok. I might have made that up.
Oh, really?
But I know. I don't know. I probably I haven't actually looked because I feel like that would be weird. But I heard he was doing very well. He's in the upper hundreds or whatever. Society likes that. They like a frat boy, rich, elite. I watched Gossip Girl recently and Chuck Bass. Very good character. Had I watched Gossip Girl before going into the Big Brother house, I might have been able to work some things a little better. You have perspective. But
I love Gossip Girl, by the way. Oh my God.
I wish I would have known about it. I am a type of person that I will not start a show unless I can start it from the beginning. And when Gossip Girl was on back in the non-technology era, you had to buy like a box set to be able to start at the beginning or catch a rerun, but then it wouldn't be in order. You couldn't just stream it and get, for all of you young people that are watching, you couldn't just like, oh, I'll just binge it. Like that wasn't a thing.
No.
So I started watching it actually very recently I'm on a Buffy podcast, and Michelle, who played Dawn on Buffy, was on Gossip Girl as Georgina, and she passed away recently
Oh,
at 44.
oh.
And we did a tribute to her, and I was like, I'm gonna watch Gossip Girl. And so I started watching it, and I'm like, honestly, I feel like I would have had a better understanding of Brett if I had seen this show. I know that might sound crazy, but I know what I'm talking about.
No, hold on. Is Brett Nate? Is he?
Oh no, he's Chuck Bass.
Brett?
Or at least at this Chuck Bass.
Oh, yes. I don't know why I didn't think of Chuck.
At least at that point in time, up to where I'm at, like like they very much the same kind of energy. I don't know. And I don't dislike Chuck Bass as a character. So no. I really feel like I could have, I think a lot of Big Brother, or a lot of life in general, is being able to find the one thing that you like about the person you cannot stand, and then riding that out, you know? So it's like, it was, and Brett and I did once, after that fight and later on in the season, and he proposed some fake alliance that I was like, hey, if it keeps me here longer, even though I didn't really believe it was a real alliance, we actually did have a conversation, and we spoke about art, and we spoke about quantum physics, and we spoke about very interesting things that I was like, wow, if this guy wasn't such a jerk because he didn't find me attractive earlier, maybe we could have had a real friendship.
Oh my gosh. Well, that makes me feel like maybe he was putting on a character in the show. Do you feel like maybe that?
Yeah, I wouldn't even know. I've never, I mean, I haven't spoken with him. So I have no idea if that's who he is, or if it was a character, or right. I could have that. I don't know. Can't speak
either way. I remember that whole thing. I remember from the beginning to end, and it was heartbreaking to watch. You watch it now, and it's an iconic moment because, you know, we love the fights. We love the drama. We're Big Brother fans. What can you say? But, like, I could not imagine. You know what I mean? Like, just hearing the whole thing from your words, I feel so bad. I feel so bad. I'm sorry.
Fine. I mean, it's like, life is life. A reality show, they push all your buttons, and it takes you to the extremes of who you even are as a person. And, you know, truth be told, that was one of the main things that I spoke about in my audition process, is that I, you know, all these other things aside, I'm fascinated by the social strategy of the game. Like, I'm not really like, I mean, these comps, they seem cool or fun or whatever, but for me, I'm very interested in what it's in the experiment of it all, you know. That was, and that really is a lot of what I took out of it. It's very crazy and fascinating, and you learn yourself if you're one of those self-learning type people.
That leads me to my next question, kind of. What was life like for you after Big Brother? Because I'm sure it was a big change.
Yeah, it was, and yet it wasn't. So I did not, my stepfather had a stroke while I was in the jury house. And so I did not do any of the after show things that might, like the cast all went to Vegas. They did this whole thing. There was a lot of like, according to the people I talked to, that's where everybody really made up. That's where I went straight home because I had 3 kids and my stepdad just had a stroke. And my mom was the one helping out with my 3 kids. So like now she needs to take care of her husband, you know? So I went home. When I got home, I was home before everybody else. So I got on the internet before everybody else. So I did something that I would not suggest, and I started posting about my own experience without having any of the rest of whatever else was going on. So I got dogged out on the internet.
Oh, no.
But I also got a lot of people that were so like appreciative of me and said that, and sent me these beautiful emails about how I showed them it was okay to be their authentic selves. And I'm going to tell you now about an experience that it's just one of those amazing things, right? So maybe about 2 months after I got off the show, I got an email from a young autistic man's mom, and she said that they were inviting me to his birthday because he was nonverbal up until he started watching Big Brother. And then he started repeating the lines that they have that they'll do, that on my daughter's birthday or whatever else would be the lines of the season. And he started speaking. And then his student assistant, because they picked up that he was talking and watching this show, she starts watching it with him. And then he just starts socializing in a way that never before happened. And so I went to his birthday at his school, and I mean, it was just, it filled my heart. So, but he was like, Rockstar, but I just watched you on TV. And I was like, and it was so beautiful. And they just said that this kid watching this show, it just like, it opened something in him. And so like, there's like those really beautiful things that you just don't realize how many lives you can touch by just being yourself, even if I mean, you can also, there's a fair amount of people love you. There's an amount of people call you cringe or whatever. But I mean, that sounds like an issue, not an ish me, my darling. Sorry, I don't know what to say about that. I'm gonna live and have fun, regardless of what you think. But I've been able to I go to the Big Brother premiere in New York every year. And that's fun. I tell, I've gotten to connect with the other reality people, which is, it's interesting to have like a toe in fame. Every so often, someone will go, are you Rockstar from Big Brother? And they'll freak out and they'll love it. And it's like, and it's cool because it's like, yo, that was like 7 years ago. Thank you for remembering. I mean, listen, I love that shit. I majored in theater and minored in musical theater in college. And then went on to run nightclubs and be a waitress, like most people that but I'm a performer. So I love that. I love when people come up and recognize me or gas me up in those ways. It's definitely different, but locally, and this is going to sound really crazy. Locally, it's not that different because I already had a name for myself in Baltimore City, which is like, I already did. People knew Angela Rockstar. They knew who I was. They still know who I am. And so that didn't really change. And most of my friends that are from the nightclub world or the performance world or the carnival world or festival world, they didn't even watch me on Big Brother. So they already like, it's this whole other world that I was already well known in, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, yeah, it does. It does. And I want to get back to what you said, that you're like, it's 7 years ago. What do you realize that you're on Paramount Plus, that people are watching you currently? Like, people are just getting into Big Brother and they're like, oh, their friends are like, watch season 20. That's a good one. So it's not 7 years ago for a lot of people.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point. It's also really funny. The first time I ever watched it, I literally fell off of my couch because I had given like this, they asked about my religion and being a witch and all of that. And so I gave this like 30-minute like synopsis, and they zipped it down to, is God a woman? You don't think God's a woman? Well, I think God's a woman. So that's why I became a pagan witch. And that's it.
They got that snippet. That's all they needed.
I'm like, this is incredible. Like, this is really crazy and funny. And
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
it's wild because it is so campy, but when you're
Yeah.
doing it, it's so emotionally charged. It's so real. You don't hear the little
Yeah.
background music. Like, you don't hear that. Like, you're like, oh my God, he was my friend, and now you're infecting him. Like it's real. Like when they walk out that door, like, is there a firing squad out there? You don't know. Like it's so crazy. But
Oh my
yeah.
God. Have you seen your whole season back?
Yes, I
You
have.
have?
I have watched it. I watched the whole season. Um, it was a ride.
Yeah.
I only have one regret. Only one regret. And that is my OTEV performance.
Ah.
Uh
Oh
before
no.
before that, I was on the block and they were definitely sending me home, and it was my veto. Well, my whole team, the constant. Okay, so I really shouldn't even put this out there in case I ever play another reality game, but you know what? Whatever. Um, I sometimes need a little encouragement, like anyone else.
Yeah.
I sometimes need, you can do this, bitch. Like, you've got this. And my entire team was like, well, Rockstar's not going to win it. So that weighed on me because you're my
Yeah.
people. Like,
Yeah.
like you're supposed to be like, bitch, you got this. Even if you say later, she don't got this shit. Like, you're supposed to gas me up a little bit, not like, well, I got you, Rockstar, because we know you're not going to win this. So Fessy was supposed to win it. Fessy's the first one out. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I am so beat. I do not, at this point, I have lost all like faith in myself, in my intuition. I just knew at the start that Tyler was the one that we needed to get out, that he was the leader. And I tried to tell everybody in my alliance, and no one listened to me. And none of that is in the CBS edit, by the way. They gave it to Haley and they gave it to Bailey. I want to put that out there because that is very true.
That's crazy.
Once they finally had the light bulbs off, they gave the thing that I had been saying the entire time to Haley and Bailey, which, you know what? They're fabulous ladies. I'm just saying that I had been saying it the entire time. Meanwhile, everybody's like, no, Rockstar, you got it wrong. Not Tyler, not Tyler, not Tyler. So once Brett like zaps out on me, then I'm like, all right, it must be Brett. I'm warped at this point because nobody believes me. Nobody is listening to me for nothing. Mm-hmm. They all think that they know better. And you know what? Because they all had this young people society going on, I felt like, all right, well, I guess you're more tapped in and you might know more than I do because they're not letting me in like they're letting you all in. They're not bonding with me like they bond with you. Like, I'm just not privy to that same kind of thing. So maybe you are right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So anyway, why was I even saying this? Because they were just like, Rockstar's not going to win this. So we're doing the competition and it gets down to me and Tyler. And I have lost at this point any shred of belief in myself. So I see Tyler running up with a different color bottle, Comp Beast Tyler, that wins everything. And I think, oh my God, I have the wrong bottle. I think I have time to go get it. So then I say out loud what I have because I thought he would say out loud the right answer. And he realized that he had the wrong answer. And he ran back down, got the right answer. And that was that.
Yeah.
So that is my one regret. And that is a life lesson in believe in yourself. Yeah. Just believe in yourself, because if I would have just held that there's a clip of Janelle in one of the seasons that I watched, and Janelle runs up there and she's holding this bottle to her chest and she's not letting anybody see that.
Yeah.
I wish that I had that energy, but what it was a loss of belief in myself. So I think I have the wrong thing and I've messed it up when I had the right thing. So it's just a further lesson if anybody can learn anything, and we can all learn from each other,
Mhm.
always believe in yourself, and
Yeah.
don't, that's it. That's that one. So that's my only regret,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. I mean, valid.
It was really crazy though, because I did you've had babies. I
Yep.
went on the show 5 months postpartum.
Oh, wow.
That was another thing that I didn't take into
Yikes.
account. So like your body is readjusting, your
Yeah.
hormones are readjusting, you're readjusting throughout that entire year. And because I had 2 kids before, but they were both 5 years apart, I kind of had forgotten about the postpartum thing. Like
Yeah.
I wish that I had tried out for this not postpartum.
Right. Yeah. It's
Um,
it's totally different.
right, like a way different experience, a way different balance, a
Yeah.
way different everything.
Yeah.
I wasn't even in my regular clothes from home, like, because I was still adjusting
Yeah.
weights, and I knew that I was going to drop on the show because I knew how my body had moved in times before. I'm normally about 120 pounds, and when I'm pregnant I get up to 200,
Yeah.
and then I just gradually drop back down with
Yeah.
little to no effort of my own. I'm sorry to anybody that is offended by that.
No.
But honestly, so like I knew that I was going to be dropping weight. So I had a lot of stretchy waistband things, a lot of I don't know. I just feel like I could have branded myself better, maybe, but it was such a weird time. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was a very, very interesting time in my life for that to even happen.
Wow. That I am learning a lot about you and about this whole season. My gosh. So I asked if you were keeping up with it. You're keeping up with the new seasons. Are there any reality shows that you've watched recently that you really like? Because I know there's a ton right now.
So I really was into The Circle very much.
Okay.
I liked that. I had auditioned the same season that they cast Brett.
Stop it.
Yeah, I sent in a tape and they cast him. They probably cast him because I was like, I shouldn't have auditioned at that point either. I had just like broken up with my son's dad, and I was in like a weird, I probably was like, and because this guy Brett, and so they were probably like, oh, where's he? And then
Yeah. Why didn't they cast both of you together? That was a miss.
that would have been interesting, right? That would have been something. That would have been very, very interesting. It would have been a good TV decision, but they did not. So I don't know.
Right.
I'm not in casting. I can't understand why they make the choices they make. But I do know that I believe when I was younger, I was to be cast as Annie, but the Daddy Warbucks was too short and I was too tall. So they went with a different Annie.
Oh.
So that's how casting works. It's not about you, it's about what they're looking for.
Yeah.
In general. And I really think that one thing that I learned very early on in acting, because I used to do voiceover work and child acting when I was a kid, is it's not personal when it comes to casting. Very often they just want you with a particular thing. I was actually, this is another one further proving what I'm talking about. They had told me that I was going to be an alternate.
Oh.
And I said, okay, because you know what I started thinking? I did just have a baby 5 months ago. Like, this might not be a great, maybe I'll be an alternate. They'll call me the next year. I'll still go out there. I'll be there, whatever.
Yeah.
So they do the final, you're going to be an alternate thing, and they're just wrapping things up. And they go, so we're just wondering, Rockstar, we know you're like a hippie love child, blah, 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 blah. But is there anybody that any type of person, any generalization, someone that you don't get along with, just a type, just a stereotype, just come up with one. We know that's just whatever. And I said, all right, I really don't like entitled white guys whose dads are probably lawyers. They got daddy's black card. They wear them loafer shoes. Like, I really don't like them. I got a call later that night. Rockstar, you've been cast. We're so excited. I swear, that's a real story. So it has to do with their own formula too. They psychologically test you before you go in there. So they know who's going to vibe, who's not going to vibe, who they want on the season, who they don't want on the season, what kind of action they're going to get. Like, I think they know. And things go differently, obviously, because humans are humans. And, maybe somebody bonds over something that they didn't even realize that they would. And for whatever reason, those people just ride it out together. But also they know our personalities and how it's going to work. So it's, they know.
That's crazy. So I don't want to keep you too long, but I do want to ask before we go. Yeah. Do you have any, like, you kind of did show a lot of advice and share a lot of advice, but any more advice for the new cast of Big Brother? Because we're getting a season like soon.
Yes. I would say be yourself.
Yeah.
The worst advice that I got was, I don't know if it was from production or something I had read on the internet before I went in, but I'm going to let you know right now, it was the worst advice I ever got. Talk to the live feeders. The worst advice I ever got was don't talk to the live feeders.
Okay.
They just want to be voyeurs. They just want to watch. They're into that, whatever. We don't judge. We talk, but we don't judge, or we share, but we don't judge. They're voyeurs. Okay. They just want to watch you live your life. And that's what they want. And so that was the worst advice that I got. I would have been talking. There were times where if I was on the live feeds, I was probably just sitting there like, because I was in my head working different things, but I thought that the live feeders wanted to be voyeurs, not participants. So I was trying to give everybody what they wanted. I'm a pleaser. I don't know what to say. So don't do that, and be your authentic self. And people are gonna judge you regardless, but the people that do that, it's because they haven't looked at themselves and they don't really like themselves and they're not willing to do the work to like themselves, so they fling at other people. So just remember that, the internet can be full of awesome and awful, and don't get too caught up in that. Those that mind don't matter, and those that matter don't mind, kind of thing. Like, your people will love you. If you really like someone as a fan, make fan page of them. That'll help them out. That stuff, it really does. You can tell. This is gonna sound really crazy, but I've talked with several people behind the scenes on this, other people, and once a player has like a fan page or several fan pages, they're more likely to get cast on another show, because that is like, oh, these people are dedicated to this person.
Yeah.
People are in there, like it's a ratings game.
Yeah.
And if you as a fan want your person to go the farthest, then do support them and do, that kind of stuff, that those edits like that that the fans make, that they're incredible. And also they're helpful to the person who you like social media and their reach. When people are posting and talking about people, that's boosting their social media. And as a performer and an entertainer, you want people talking about you. So you could do that as a fan. As a player, only pay attention to the people that are doing what I just suggested that they do, because those are your people and those are your fans, and they're going to love you and they're going to ride for you. And that's who you need to be paying attention to. Every so often, sure, smack a bitch down if you feel like it, make a little video or whatever. That's fun. If you feel froggy. But the majority of the time, just focus in on those people that are really, they care about you because they've watched you and they've gotten to know you and they feel like they are, like they really know you. Like, and so if you want to stay in the limelight or whatever, then let them know you, and be authentic and be real, and show that you also care about them. Because that matters. People like to feel like people care about them, you know?
Yeah. It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Well, that is some really, really great advice. Thank you. A million thank yous. Do you have anything going on that you want people to know about before we go?
I don't know. There might be some sort of local events in the works. Some music-y type things.
Okay.
I have been not necessarily performing. I got a quote unquote normal people job.
I feel
So
you.
I've been doing that as well as still social media and things like that. But if you just, follow and keep posted, it never ceases to amaze me when someone will even bring, me up, because it's like, holy shit, wow, thanks. I appreciate that. I like that, like, yes. I would love personally, we would all love another opportunity, right? And some people would love their first opportunity, but I feel like if I had another opportunity, it might almost be like a first opportunity based upon all the things that I had told you previously that were going on. Not to mention, I was not in a good relationship. Like, it was just a whole weird fever dream of a time in my own life. And I feel like if I have the opportunity in the future, because who knows what the future holds ever, right?
Right.
Then I feel like I could present a more balanced version of what I was trying to show, which is really like, at the end of the day, life is a journey. It's a ride. It's short. It's a short ride. So in that short ride, you should live it to its fullest, and you should take all the opportunities that are given, and you should take a chance, and you should take a risk, because we're all going to end up dead.
Yeah.
Eventually, right? So you have this short ride, this short journey to do whatever you want with it. And that's incredible. That's amazing. And I feel like a lot of people are feeling, very sad, or the weight of the world, or especially as you get older, it just seems like everything can bog you down so much. But at the beginning, middle, and end of the day, it's such a short ride that even if everything is awful, you still woke up and got to experience it. Like, your soul's journey is still on whatever this thing is. And every day that you wake up is a completely new opportunity to live your best life, not mine, not BBSteph's, but whoever you are. And everyone can truly be a best version of themselves. And that would really make the world a better place in general. Because I think a lot of times we focus so much on everything that's wrong with everybody else. Whereas if we really tuned into ourselves and making ourselves the most happy, healed, loved versions of ourselves that we could be, then everybody walking around would be a lot happier, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Girl, can I have you to send me daily affirmations?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Sure. My kids are like, oh God, here she goes again. Because truly, they didn't show this on Big Brother at all, but that's really more who I am. I'm one of these people that really tries to uplift, really tries to I believe the best kind of greed is people are like, you're always smiling. And I'm like, yeah, when I smile at people, they smile back at me. And it's so much better than seeing a bunch of screw faces walking around. And that's the kind of greedy I want to be. I want you to be happy, so you're not fucking my vibe up. I mean, we all go through it. So of course, I want to support people too. But I think in a lot of ways, expectation and comparison is the killer of joy. You really shouldn't expect anything except the blessing that it is to wake up, period. Then if you got that, then don't compare yourself to anyone other than who you were the day before, because no one else in the world has your story, has your challenges, has your talents, has your lack of talents, has your anything. So whatever they're doing, it doesn't matter because they had either a leg up or a leg down or whatever, and you're comparing yourself to a completely different story. It's like, I don't know. Let's see here. What like Wicked to Oliver Twist or something. Like, it's a very different story, you know?
I hear you. Well, I'm just going to put this out there into the universe that we need Rockstar on another show, like ASAP, please. Okay, it's out there now.
I love that. Thank you. I'm into it. I'm into it. I always like post, you know, why can't we just have a show where we go around the world and like view the parties that are happening and come together in this celebration, and realize that we're all much more like our commonalities than our differences. And in every culture, no matter what, there's some sort of a celebration and where people dance or they sing or they something. And I like posted that online and somebody goes, no one wants to see that. That's very boring. We want fights. And I was like, oh.
Okay. I'm sitting here like I'm like eating it up. That's a really good, okay. I guess not.
So, I mean, you know, you gotta find somebody that shares the vision, obviously.
I guess so.
And
that
people
person did not share it.
People with the ducats to do so. But I would love to be on another show. I mean, really, yes. I would put myself out there. My son, who I had right before I went on, is old enough to know that I was on this show. He tells people, and he's like, when you go back on TV, mommy? And I'm like, well, you know, it's not that easy. I can't just say, hey, I'm coming. I'll be there. Okay.
You just show up one day on stage.
Yes. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to put this out there because who knows when anyone will interview me again. If you are another reality person and you have been cast on a show, we don't need to hear that you turned them down, okay? Or not cast, but like called for it. We don't need to hear your announcement that you turned them down. Like, please, like, stop.
I know I'm not going to name names. I know what you're talking about.
No, there's like so many of them and they come from everywhere. And I'm just like, and then everybody's like, Rockstar, did you get a call? And I'm like, no, but let me list the 15 people that said that they denied the call. Because I sure can now.
Yeah.